Welcome back, Hoosier fans. I'm Courtney Robb, and this is your weekly update. This morning, charges were confirmed for former IU wide receiver Camion Patrick, who was arrested yesterday on a warrant for one count of homicide. Patrick, who had been granted a medical hardship waiver by IU Athletics, was suspended yesterday following the arrest. Patrick, along with his brother Isaiah Wright, are both facing charges in the death of 18-year-old Caleb Thomas Radford. The charges came out of Blount County in Tennessee, but Patrick is still being held at the Monroe County Jail on the preliminary charges. IU football won their first game of the season this past weekend against Virginia, 34-17. Virginia claimed the first 3 points of the game in the second quarter up until redshirted freshman quarterback Peyton Ramsey replaced senior Richard Lego on the field. Ramsey helped the Hoosiers score 2 touchdowns to give IU the lead in the second quarter. Although Virginia was able to score in the second half, the Hoosiers continued on to earn 2 more touchdowns, hold the lead, and take home a win. IU football was scheduled to return home this weekend to continue non-conference play against Florida International. Unfortunately, in the wake of Hurricane Irma, the game was ultimately canceled. Hurricane Irma devastated South Florida over the weekend and brought too many obstacles for FIU players and coaches to overcome to travel to Bloomington. The decision came late Monday evening following discussions between IU Athletic Director Fred Glass and FIU officials. IU Athletics quickly began its search for another game to add to the schedule. What was originally a bye week for the Hoosiers will now be a matchup against Charleston Southern on October 7th. The decision came midday on Tuesday, but a kickoff time between the two schools has yet to be announced. History repeated itself as the IU men's soccer team battled Maryland for 110 minutes just to finish the game completely scoreless. Although the Hoosiers outshot the Terrapins with 14 opportunities, they simply were not able to put points on the board. This is the 4th straight draw between these two teams in history, moving each team to 4-0-1 on their respective seasons. But last night, the Hoosiers had an opportunity for a win when they faced off against Michigan at home. I'd like to say their fate was a little bit better, but they ended the game the exact same way, in a draw. Both teams were able to put a point up on the board, tying the game 1-1 as the Hoosiers kept their undefeated season record alive 4-0-2. Next up, IU will travel to the Chicagoland to take on Northwestern Sunday at 4:30 p.m. But wins weren't the only victories for this Hoosier team. IU moved up to the #1 ranking this week, while senior Grant Lillard earned the National Player of the Week title. Head coach Todd Yeagley commented on Lillard's performance in an IU press release, saying that he is certainly playing at an All-American level. The IU women's soccer team has found success of their own this past week. The Hoosiers continued their series of straight road games down south last weekend. IU faced off against both Southern Methodist and North Texas. The Hoosiers put up 3 shots in the first period, but were unable to find success until a late goal in the second. Junior Maya Piper shot the game-winning goal during the 77th minute to make the final 1-0. But when it came to taking on the Mean Green, it wasn't as straightforward for the Hoosiers. IU fell behind North Texas 3-2 in the second period when Piper took a shot with 52 seconds left to send the game into overtime. The Hoosiers finished out their non-conference play with a 3-3 draw. IU will face off against Michigan State in the East Lansing at 7 p.m. The IU volleyball team returned home with a 9-0 streak from last weekend's tournament in Evansville. The Hoosiers swept the Dunn Hospitality Invitational to earn their 3rd tournament title of the season. Now IU will return home for one last tournament this weekend to finish out their non-conference with the Hoosier Classic. The tournament will feature matches against UNLV, Sampson, and FGCU. The first match against UNLV begins tomorrow night, 7 p.m. That's all I have for you today, Hoosier fans. Make sure to follow myself and the Hoosier Sports Report on Twitter for all your IU news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here next time.